Do you have a plan for what to do if disaster strikes? Surprisingly, less than half of Americans do. September is National Preparedness Month, and today, Katie Fox of FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, is here to tell us why it is so important to plan ahead for worst-case scenarios. Hi, Katie.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. And, you know, we hear that, especially with children, we should have a fire drill. We should teach them how to dial 911. But what are we supposed to be doing that most of us are not?
There are a couple of things. The first is to have an emergency plan. So sit around the dinner table this evening and talk with your family members about what you would do if an emergency happened to your family. That can be a fire, like you just said. Fire drills are terrific. But where would you go? Does everybody know which neighbor's house to meet at? And do the kids know to call 911 and what they would say if they did? The next thing is to get some life-saving skills. Have you taken a CPR class? Is your certification up to date if you have? And then have some insurance coverage and check it to make sure that it covers everything that you would need it to. Many Americans find themselves underinsured or not insured at all. That's really the best way to recover from any kind of emergency. And finally, have a savings account. You can use that on any kind of rainy day, whether a literal rainy day or not. We have those steps and more at ready.gov.
So when you're meeting with families and during emergencies, do you find that most of them, they didn't have the plan and that perhaps they were more in danger because the family was just everywhere?
You know, just like you said, it's about half of Americans who have taken 3 or more steps to be prepared. And really, the family emergency plan is such a basic and completely free thing to do and put everyone's mind at rest so that you've talked through what would happen and where you could go and make sure that everybody knows what steps to take. This can be helpful for really any kind of disaster, whether it's a flood, a tornado, any kind of severe weather situation. And so it's such a great way for the family to get together and talk about emergencies and how to keep each other safe. And again, ready.gov has some tips for that.
A lot of us think that, oh, we have cell phones now. So we're in the news business. We get these alerts. There's a tornado warning or watch. You can just call home, tell them what to do. Do you find that sometimes that people don't realize that as soon as an emergency happens, cell phones don't really work or the networks can go down?
Yeah, I mean, we're so reliant on cell phones, myself certainly included. And so talking through what you would do if your cell phone wasn't working or only working in a limited way. We know, for example, that during emergencies, cell towers get overloaded and it's really hard to make phone calls. So text works much better. Sometimes it makes a lot of sense to have an out-of-town contact. So who's that one person who doesn't live in the same place that you do that everybody can reach out to let them know that you're safe or that you need some help? We use social media for so much in our lives as well, and there are many apps that have a way to check in. So does everybody know which platform to go to? So, you know, we rely on our cell phones, but we have to have backup plans as well.
Specifically in our area of the country, we deal with snowstorms and also hurricanes. Give us some advice for those two specific emergencies.
Yeah, absolutely. So in snowstorms, you want to make sure that you have enough emergency supplies when it's really hard to get out and get to the grocery store and other things. So having a couple days supply, 3 days supply of food and water, and making sure that you have enough things to keep yourselves warm as well if you should lose heat, which sometimes happens during severe weather in the winter. And then for hurricanes, really the same kinds of preparedness tips apply, having some backup supplies, having an emergency plan, knowing your evacuation routes, and where the shelters in your area are. Again, ready.gov can give you some tips to walk through this. Another thing that people can do is download the FEMA app. You mentioned weather alerts earlier, and the FEMA app has those, as well as templates to make your family emergency plan.
So if you're wondering how you're going to do the plan, if you go to this website or the app, there's actually plug and play forms so we can know exactly what to do for a disaster plan.
Yep, exactly. It's got a template. You just fill it in and you can work your way through it.
Anything special for little kids? Because you don't want to overwhelm them, but we want to make sure that they're informed in case maybe something happens, you're not with them.
Yeah, it's such a great question. You know, in an age-appropriate way, talk to them about what could happen and how to keep themselves safe. So with my kids who are 6 and 7, we've practiced how you would call 911 if you need to, and you know, do fire drills in your home, and really just let them know that they'll be safe and that they're secure, and you know, how to ask for help if they need it.
All right, thank you so much, Katie, for being here, and some good advice as we're getting back to school. We can also make sure we sit down and do that disaster plan.
Thank you.
Thank you. For more helpful information on being prepared for any potential problems, especially at this time of the year, again, just head to that website. It's ready.gov/September. FEMA also posts information on Facebook and Twitter, so you can also search ready.gov there.